Let me commend my good friend, the Honorable Member for Medina, finding the need to present this statement to the House floor. Speaker, commentaries on the statement is encouraging, and it puts matters in proper context. The Honorable Agribusiness, the Honorable Ofosu-Adjare, and the Honorable Agribusiness have spoken well to the statement, and other colleagues that I cannot exhaust. So there are a few things I find fundamental when we are talking about trade. It comes to me as an irony that even in the face of the Mediterranean Sea, serving as a fiscal gap between Africa and Europe, other trade standards that are very repressive, fair trade standard, Eurogap standard, yet Africa finds a way to trade more with our brothers in Europe than ourselves. And for me, that is the fundamental issue that has to be dealt with. Speaker, the AFTA is the biggest trade agreement after WTO. However, many years down the line, we are still talking in terms of a narrative which is focused more on boardroom discussions. Boardroom discussions. To be able to practicalize this, get Africans to sign on to this huge trade agreement that we have to leverage on is still a matter that is still in discussion. Tariffs, which often have constituted a barrier, trade barrier, is still staring at us in our faces. Africa has the youngest, data proves that we have the youngest population globally. And so we have no excuse for sorrow. We have passed all the legislation. In the past decade, one can do a casual analysis of legislations that we have passed that are sensitive to trade and the enhancement of trade, the fair trade concept, the free zone concept, the economic zone concept, yet we appear to be moving in cycles as a country and also as a continent. So I think we have to change our mindset. We must change our mindset, and that is what can really get to the core of the matter and facilitate the very trade that we are looking for. Globally, we are seen as the producers of raw materials. And so until we change our mindset, all the trade agreements will be meaningless unless we change our mindset. We have to change our mindset as a continent. How come that we have all the raw materials? How come we have the biggest, arguably the biggest number of minerals, and yet we wallow in poverty, abject poverty, and still at where we are? I hope when my colleague, the Honorable Agribusiness, was contributing to the statement, he observed all the key personalities who have contributed to these agreements across the political divide. I want to plead with our colleagues in the NDC administration particularly. It's very revealing that this statement is coming from one of your own on your side. The NPP has set the tone. I'm not being partisan here. We set the tone. We ensured that the Secretariat was won. We are hosting the Secretariat. We have set the tone. Let it be said that one day, if you are out of power, you will add on to this agreement, and this agreement will be more meaningful, not only to Ghana, but across the frontiers of Africa. So continue where we've left off, and let's leave a legacy that one day Africa can be proud of. On that note, I want to commend my good friend, the Honorable Ofosu. The president, in his acceptance speech, made a very interesting comment. Ghana belongs to a number of international bodies, and then he mentioned there is a new emerging global body called the BRICS. The president has said that Ghana will take concrete steps for Ghana to join the BRICS. I found that very interesting. And if it is the case, we will be waiting that the president, in the fullness of time, will give us full details on this matter. The BRICS today, globally, are commanding a lot of respect, both in trade and other diplomatic and bilateral and multilateral exchanges. We hope that decision will be made and the dividends will come to benefit not just Ghana, but our neighbors, Côte d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, and other sister countries who live in the West Africa regions. I thank you for the space granted. I'm grateful.
Thank you very much, my majority leadership. Will you say something or we should move on?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much for the opportunity to make a contribution to the statement made by my able friend, Honorable Ofosu, the MP for the good people of Medina. Mr. Speaker, the statement made today is actually one of the most important statements that has been made in this House, for the simple reason that the Continental Africa Free Trade, as leader rightly said, is actually the largest free trade area in the world today, in terms of population size, in terms of geographic, size, and actually in terms of member states. 54 African countries, are involved in this. Mr. Speaker, if we get ourselves involved properly, especially since we have the headquarters here, we should be leading the African continental free trade. Many a times we sign an agreement, but we don't put in place the preparation that we need to be able to benefit from this agreement. AGOA comes to mind. We have signed AGOA for almost about 20 years, but we can't actually give a tangible, result that we've got from that. So we shouldn't make a mistake with this one, because this can get us out of a lot of, serious problems that we have in this country. As many contributors, including the incoming education minister, said, it is usually, Mr. Speaker, that we do sign all these agreements, but we don't put the preparatory work in place. And we keep signing this agreement. And other countries take advantage of us because they make the preparation. If you look at the rush with which we ratified this agreement and look at how others took their time to do it,